Coming up next on KYOU News for You at 10, with the Omicron variant confirmed in Iowa, reported COVID-19 cases are reaching new yearly highs. As some residents in Burlington are getting notifications that they're being tracked. These stories and more as KYOU News for You at 10 starts right now. Good evening, I'm Eric Monaghan. COVID-19 cases in Iowa are approaching a new yearly high that we haven't seen since January, with hospitalizations among kids jumping up as well. The state reports the spread is increasing with over 10,000 cases in the last 7 days. That's around the most since very early January of this year. While overall hospitalizations dropped, more children are in the hospital with the virus. The state says 16 children are hospitalized, all unvaccinated. Vaccination rate among young children is low, the state reports. 14% of those between 5 and 11 are fully vaccinated. The state posted an additional 59 deaths today, to a total of over 7,800 COVID deaths. Another harrowing number, the CDC predicts more than 44,000 people could die from COVID in the next months. That number would increase average deaths per day from 1,500 to 1,800, with hospitalizations expected to increase as well. Nationwide, the daily record for coronavirus cases in the U.S. is at its highest, but hospitalizations and deaths lag behind peak levels from nearly a year ago. Isabel Rosales reports on the trends and the eyebrow-raising update from the FDA about at-home COVID-19 rapid testing. This news is on the heels of the CDC's decision to shorten the recommended isolation time from 10 days to just 5. Tonight, the CDC director explains they based their decision on what they thought people could tolerate. However, Walensky notes the CDC doesn't recommend rapid tests for ending COVID-19 isolation. She says they don't know how those tests perform or predict how transmissible people are at the end of infection. And a new Apple product is reportedly being used to track people. It's something the Burlington Police Department is looking into. KYOU 15 Susan Shade has more.
A warning?
The number of people in Des Moines shot in gun violence this year doubled compared to 2020, but fewer people died in this year's shootings. As of Tuesday, 86 people have needed treatment for gunshot wounds compared to 49 last year. Des Moines police say last year's number was average. Shootings killed 11 people so far this year, and last year that number rang in at 17. Police attribute that drop to the care at area hospitals. And the Mahaska County Sheriff's Department just added an exciting new addition. KYOU 15 Shelby Slaughter will introduce you to Rocco, a German Shepherd police dog who just joined the team, and their first police dog in over a decade.
There's a new.
And an Iowa man and his son are expected to plead guilty for their roles in the January protests at the U.S. Capitol. Welcome back, I'm Eric Monaghan. President Joe Biden is slated to hold a call with Russian President Vladimir Putin tomorrow afternoon at the request of the Russian leader. A national security spokesperson says the leaders plan to discuss several topics, including upcoming diplomatic engagements next month. Another topic, the stalemate in Ukraine, where Russia has 100,000 troops. Intelligence officials are worried Russia could launch an attack there in the next few weeks. Biden has warned Putin against such an attack earlier this month, and Putin issued a similar warning for NATO forces not to expand into Ukraine. Now, Iowa man and his son are expected to plead guilty for their roles in the January 6th Capitol attack. Daryl Johnson is from St. Ansgar, Iowa, and his son Daniel is from Minnesota. The two face numerous charges, including violent entry and disorderly conduct. They're due in a Washington, D.C. court next week, but it's unclear which charges they may plead guilty to. Court documents show someone tipped investigators to a Snapchat video of Daniel Johnson showing him inside the Capitol during the attack. Documents also show he posted on Facebook that he was one of the first inside the building. Investigators eventually obtained private messages and charged his father. And the new year is approaching, as is Iowa's last game of the 2021 season. It'll be a big stage Saturday, but the Hawkeyes are keeping their focus on improving themselves. Jack Lito has more.
Temperatures back in the teens and 20s.
Thanks, Hannah. It sounds like we've got some snow headed our way this weekend, which means snow shoveling, driving on icy roads, and some extreme colds. But one young boy visiting North Dakota says all the snow is exactly what he wanted for Christmas. And Jody Kurzman explains he says this weather is good news.
8-year-old Easton Crook.
Their Christmas gift is a Tacoma Salvation Army. They overshot their donation goal by $7,000, their largest sum to date. The Salvation Army envoy tells KYOU they've received over $57,000 as of today. Last year, donors gave $42,000. And this year, 189 volunteers gave their time over 760 hours to ring the bells. And when we return with the new year approaching, inflation looks to be sticking around, keeping those prices high.
KYOUTV.com.
Welcome back, I'm Eric Monaghan. A story we're all familiar with by now, inflation pushing prices high for many products. Economic experts say that with high pent-up demand, many of those costs will likely stick around in the new year. Jen Sullivan has a closer look at the items that may cost more in 2022. And while the Christmas holiday is over, many people are still trying to get home amid flight cancellations and staffing shortages. Welcome back, I'm Eric Monaghan. The travel surge from the holiday weekend is becoming a week-long problem for passengers as staff shortages, weather, and Omicron are creating chaos nationwide for people desperate to get home. Steve Patterson has more. That's all we have for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for KYOU News for You at 10. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Be sure to visit our website, KYOUTV.com. And have a wonderful night.